Hugo Broos again is fighting with Rulani Mokwena of Sundowns. Siyabonga Gezana does another Lyle Forster. And in the Nedbank Cup, we have a Tshwane derby. All things to talk about in this week's video. Welcome back again to the Dsky Chat podcast. If this is the first time watching the video, please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and click on the notification bell. So every time when we drop a video, you'd be the first one to know about. This is your boy Walter, just talking about all things Dstvpremiership, baby. Let's get to it. The past week has been interesting. Rulani Mokwena actually was interesting on Twitter with interesting comments that he has made about obviously Hugo Broos and everything. But we'll talk about that. Before we get there, just want to be able to start off with the Dstvpremiership or the Nedbank Cup, which was playing in the past week. So, obviously, we're not going to be touching Kaizer Chiefs because it wasn't there. So I see everyone has been relaxing. About Kaizer Chiefs, mend your hearts, pull on my feet. You see, I've thrown away my jersey. It's fine. The league is gone. It's fine. So if you're a Kaizer Chiefs fan on this podcast, I'll relax, my brother. Pirates fans and Sundowns, today. I'm talking to you guys. So, good run of football. Sundowns, with delay, lightning, and all these things. That game was already wrapped up way before they went onto the field. Maritzburg put up a good fight. Let me start with the Pirates game, though. Once again, I think what I'm impressed by, apart from talking about obviously the games themselves, is that at least class 8. There's no David versus Goliath situation. Midfield has been dealt with very nicely by Stellenbosch. Congrats, by the way, to Stellenbosch. They won 6-1 comfortably. But to be fair, the 1 point I want to slip in before Kaizer Chiefs fans bite me in the ass. I think one thing that's good about that game is that the fact that Emil Ford was open was very different from the Kaizer Chiefs game. They were very open. They were not playing a mid and low block. They were attacking, and hence they scored. So it was easy pickings for Stellenbosch. I'm not trying to play down the game, though. I'm just saying it was a different approach as an approach to Kaizer Chiefs. But I see good up. Congrats to them. They're in the quarterfinals. They're going to be playing against Stellenbosch. We saw the draw. I can't remember some teams, but I remember Pirates. Sundowns. Pirates is I think Pirates is Pirates is playing against the Amazulu. Sundowns is playing against what is it playing against? My goodness. Oh, it's a Tshwane derby. Of course, I actually even said it's a Tshwane derby. It's playing against Tuks. It's a mini Tuks derby. I don't know what to call it, but it's a Tshwane derby either or, because Tuks is from Tshwane as well. Look, those games are very good for me because I have a peak here. For my last 4, not to dwell too much on them because it was a good game. Pirates went comfortably there. Not too much about it. Hungry Lions, good show. But look, Pirates now is showing the quality that we all have been talking about. Guys. That's why I'm actually mentioning the game, because it's going to seem like I'm just skim reading. Look, that game for me, if I had to talk about it just 2 minutes or just a bit, is that, look, Pirates, they're peaking at the wrong time, but I guess it's the right time. It depends on how you look at it. I think this is the kind of form that we're looking for as per their signings earlier on in the season. I think if they've been playing like this earlier on and being consistent in their performance, they would have been head-to-head in the Pirates. This is what we've been saying all along. The mistakes, they've been made a lot, I think, in terms of selections, maybe approach at times, like from the back, and I think Will is giving them a balance. I wanted to see Libito. I think he went for Monyana again. Don't know why. But those are the one things, a few mistakes the technical team has been getting wrong, in my opinion, the way I see it. Hey, Saling is back. So that Triple M, they call it Triple M. It's Mufukeng, it's Maswanganyi, it's Monapule Saling. Those, you see, when you have that 3 circulating, they don't even look like Loch. Hasn't been playing for a while, so that's good for them. I'm very impressed. Just hold on. Sorry guys, I was fixing my mic there. So yeah, that's good for them. So that game, I think, gave us enough to remind us, the Pirates, after that CAF loss, I think they never were the same, and maybe they needed this kind of results, back to back. And Umabasa just came into a team that needed a shot stopper, that needed someone who's actually a finisher. Good quality. I mean, the fourth goal, my goodness, that's the kind of thing they need. But it's unfortunate, but not really, because they're in a cup. So if they get to the final like they've been doing, they seem to be cup specialists of note. So at least could be a good semi-final for me if we find that Sundowns maybe gets drawn against TX Galaxy. I'm hoping then Powers gets drawn against Hidden Boys. There could be my dream semi-final. That's me. My dream semi-final is that. And the dates are not confirmed, so we're going to wait for a while, because after this international break, we're going back to the Dstvpremiership for points, because there's only 10 games left. I think from that, Sundowns, even though they played less matches, they just need 6 wins from the 6 games that they have. Then they've wrapped up the league. So, so we don't know when the Nedbank Cup will be playing. So that's one thing to look out for. But that's my wish list, to see that semi. And if all goes well, we may see another Mamelodi Sundowns Pirates final. I don't know where it's going to be playing. I think it's going to be a beat again. Maybe it's Mabita, Polokwane. Hopefully maybe here at FNB, which hasn't been for a while. So that's the Nedbank quarterfinalist. Just to mention a few. Was quite interesting. Very good weekend. Manchester, Liverpool, I think they topped it off very nicely. So it was good to watch. So, those are the last matches for the international break. And we saw, I think we talked about it in the previous video, about the 23 men that's been chosen. So tonight, actually at 11, first game we're playing against Andorra. It's very interesting. Line-up is Obinjan, because we've lost to Siabo Angezana. Currently, the papers were lost. Hugo Broos came out actually clarifying that situation, that it wasn't on their side. It actually was him who lost his passport for some reason, which is very, very interesting for me, just to talk about that now, because that one part, it didn't make sense, because they're playing the championship. I think they're almost there. They have to play 9 games and they win it. So I think maybe the team, since he's becoming a key player in the team as Romania, maybe they created a story so that he couldn't come. So it's actually sad, because it would have been a good opportunity to welcome him back to the national team. So those are the kind of stories that we've been focused on this week, to understand what's wrong with the national team, with some players playing abroad when they come with stories. Are we now facing another Lyle Foster situation? No. But that's what SAFA, I think Hugo Broos, in another interview, actually cleared out that situation. Those are the players. Players tell very understandable. He withdrew because of an injury. Then Usianda Kulu, oh my goodness, is back. Oh, but saying it, we are done with that guy. Then Tabang Monare, don't have a problem with him, but there's been criticism because Tabang Monare hasn't been playing for a long time in Pirates. He hasn't been making the matchday squad even. So that was interesting. So with the new 10 players that we've invited, could be good. We need Sundowns also joined actually yesterday, the national team. So the Sundowns players, they've joined. Now, to what the video is about, let's talk about this thing now. Just let's not stop beating around the bush. I don't know what's going on with this thing, Wangama coaches, of fighting amongst themselves, with having to not be more professional, because look, internationally it happens, but I don't want to sound biased here, but the national team is the national team. A club coach is a club coach for me. I'm not a fan of, I haven't been a fan of Umadala when he started being a coach on our side, but his experience, you can tell, he's outspoken now, in his own way. And we have Rulani Mokwena also having his own way of being able to, articulate and pressers and all these things. So this feud that's going on, it happened before AFCON a bit, where Matala and I had another Dutch interview ever back home, talking about Rulani Mokwena in terms of how he complains about Sundowns players coming back with injuries and all these things, So you'll never know where it started. But I'm with him on that. Why is he talking to the media? And we have doctors, why don't he send a report? Now, I'm going to add context. So what has happened is, remember, right now when the 23-man squad was announced, Sundowns players are still dominating the squad list. The issue that we are having, or Sundowns is having, I feel, is the fact that some of the players, when they came back from AFCON, played with injuries, or they picked up injuries from the tournament itself, and they haven't been playing regularly. And now, like for instance, Ukhuliso Mdao, but he's not included because he was already injured when the list came out. But we saw him, he was part of I think he played Nedbank, the last game. Then we have Mokwena in particular, and obviously the key players, just to be fair, Ronan Williams as well. They didn't play the last game. So Rulani Mokwena came out and saying in a presser that, look, some of the players haven't really recovered fully. They came back with niggling injuries, niggling. So here's the thing about what I would agree with Umadala this time is to say, look, we do have a medical doctor. You have a medical doctor. Send a report and tell us if the player is available or not. Don't go to the media and start talking about this thing because it creates a bad precedent. Or which is kuluma about certain things of maybe it's an unspoken rule. We don't know. But it goes back, like I said, to the feud that they had before the tournament. Because I remember Momatala came out and saying Rulani thinks he's the Mourinho of SA football and all these things. So for me, I'm starting to wonder what's really going on. But hindsight said, I don't want to sound biased, but I agree with Madala's statement slightly because of the fact that you should tell us. Because for me, if I'm looking at it, in my opinion, it just seemingly looks like maybe Sundowns doesn't want to lose the key players before, because when they come back, they have CAF, they have the Dstvpremiership, they have the club welcome to consider, they have the Nedbank. And I think they're prioritizing CAF now because obviously these two, they have the squad for they have the squad for Nedbank, they have a squad for the Dstvpremiership. So maybe his major concern now is the CAF and qualifying, stamping well, because I feel they've qualified for a club World Cup. So that would be the scale. And casting doubt because this is a friendly. So maybe they don't take it as serious as maybe Madala seems, because it's an international friend, it's a FIFA break, you're allowed to call on your big shots, nani. But also, at the same time, Madala has chosen, like for example, he's giving Udpesitao a break. So maybe this is where Sundowns comes in, or Rulani speaks now in his own way to highlight certain things about their players playing a big role, because remember, they are taking the bulk of the players, which make the spine of his Sundowns, and they actually contribute to the national team. And it gives them inking, because when they come back, if they come back with an injury, they may have problems. Though we have a squad, but those are our first team players. So, it's a catch-22. You can take this side and take that side, but I think here it also, for me, it leaves room to say this is why this meeting, PSL Madala has been calling, so that they can squash whatever problems that they have, and they can be in, they can sing one song, because this thing back and forth in the media doesn't look good for our football, because you can't have a national coach and one of the PSL coaches. Yes, Sundowns is doing good, but he's a coach in his own right. So you can't have that kind of behavior being displayed. And then, now we have to talk about it. Now this is content. We can't talk about football, but we have to talk about what could be happening behind the scenes. So for football, it hasn't set a good precedence, because it seems like coaches, I would say this, being a Sundowns coach here, Rulani has his own ambitions, clearly, because he wants to leave a good stamp, and these players are the players that can play for him, and he believes they can get him the result that he needs. We have also Hugo Broos, who's speaking about the FIFA rankings. And, there's obviously a bit of contention about the players that have been selected. Just hold on. Now, with the players that have been selected, it regards to some of them being snapped, like I mentioned, so maybe he could have tested out a few players instead of taking the whole roster, because remember, let's 8 players. But as Dstvpremiership was bigger, there's a few players who don't even play that much. Mokwena, for example. Mudiba doesn't play all the games. You can check out the stats. Terence Mashiho doesn't play. So I think for me, sometimes it's ridiculous, man, because I think Mokwena and Rulani, who are playing most matches, who else is in the front? Because Maseko is not there. He's still in injury. Uvala, injury. So I'm highlighting the players that we actually look to with sharp. These are the players from Sundowns that really help us to build a team around, So I don't know what you guys think. This thing has been something we've been talking about the whole week. It's been displayed in the media, and there seems to be that rift. But me, like I said, going back to my point, in the saying that the sooner they can have the meeting between PSL, which is Ivan Coach, the chairman, with the national coach, the better. Because maybe that would outline certain schedules that the teams have, because not all teams are participating in CAF and have a very tight schedule like Sundowns have. And at the same time, maybe with the squad that they have, maybe there's certain things that maybe they can iron out, which can help both the national team and the PSL teams to be in sync. So that this thing of complaining about injuries and all this is part of the game. Back internationally, we have seen so many injuries. Erling Haaland went back. Thibaut Courtois went back. Kevin now has been having niggling injuries. It's an international problem. We're not the only ones dealing with it. But it's just so sad to see how we are handling the whole situation between the coach and and the national team. So it's only the players, their psyche, and them giving us 100% when they coach the national team. We don't want to question that a bit, because obviously they would be protecting their careers, and obviously them having ambitions also in their teams and playing well, because when they come back, they have to fight for their sport, and we don't know exactly the full scope of where this thing comes from. But it's also one of my things of understanding or trying to understand what exactly is going on. So that's just one of the things that maybe, apart from myself, I don't know what you guys think about this whole thing. Do you think it's good for our football? We're having a coach every week, fighting with this one, fighting with that one. We have a national coach also being frustrated, because you saw how he was before AFCON, where it was very, very frustrating for him for certain team, where he felt like the PSL wasn't working with him. Players didn't get enough rest, or he couldn't select, or they didn't have enough time to have players in camp and them resting. So it always feels like there's something working against him. But at the same time, we want the national team to thrive. But now the coaches, they're prioritizing club football over the national team. So which is one of the things probably that really, really affects the progress of our league and how we look in terms of the football, the international community. So I don't know. For me, I've gained respect for Hugo Broos, and I'm a huge fan of Rulani Mokwena at the same time. Though I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan, but we like what we see, obviously, in regards to him being passionate about the game. So that's all I have for you this week. Catch you next week, because obviously we're going to be talking about a few things about the Dstvpremiership. Probably there's a few transfers that may be lurking around with 10 games left. It's going to be very, very interesting and hot, as Bonini Golden Arrows has hired Steve Compella again. So it's going to be interesting to see how the top 8 is going to be shaping up. Chiefs, I hope in Chima with I hope in Chima. I hope in Chima lap. But that's all I have. Thank you guys who keep on coming back and really our feet every week when we talk about football. That's all I have. Like I said, this is your boy. Please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on that notification bell for more of these exciting videos talking all things DStv Premiership. See you next week, Bafana. Shop.